Good evening. It is the 2nd of March 2022. Wow, where has the year gone? 2 months already down, 60 days in. So whatever we've been doing in 2022, we're starting to make a habit. Isn't that right? It's over 66 days to create a habit. So we are creating a habit. So So guys, thank you so much for being here. It's exciting to actually have you in this room in our masterclass, the Art of Allowing Masterclass. And we've got an exciting night planned for you. We've got a night where we're going to be sharing with you. Well, let me turn these lights off. I had my lights going, my disco lights and everything else. We'll turn them off. Here we go. So yeah, we've got a night that we want to share with you. I suppose what's been happening for us over the last 24 months, especially over the last 6 months, as we've been going out of, or coming out of these challenges, these times that we've all been in with whatever this situation is. And I'm asking you the question, who are you choosing to be today? What have you learned from the last 24 months? And what type of person have you become? And how are you living in accordance to your values? And how are you working towards creating the very things that you want? How you're manifesting the things in your life? And is that working for you? Is that not working for you? And if it's not working for you, what are the obstacles? Or if we could share with you some 3 key principles in terms of how you can create the things in your life, and what's the one law that amplifies all the other laws that makes them work for you, what would that be? And this is what we're going to be talking about tonight, the art of allowing. And I suppose my lesson over the last 6 months has been this. It's been letting flow happen in life, as opposed to attempting to put a square peg in a round hole and attempt to force life and to have life the way I'd want it to be, in terms of have some certainty, because that's important to me. That's a human basic need for me. But how was it playing out in my life? So we're going to be sharing a bit of our story and our learnings. And so that's what we put this masterclass tonight, the art of allowing. And I'm sure that when we go through it, and we'll get some feedback from you guys, tell us what you think, and how are you going to start applying that and start bringing in more of the things which are important to you in your life. I mean, we all want more, don't we? We all want to bring in more of the love, more of the happiness, more of the joy, more of the success, more of the things which are important to us in our life. So how do we go about doing that? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's just make sure we can... so you guys can see me. You got me on speaker view. You got me on your screen. Okay, great. Because I've got everyone here. So for some reason I've got Vanessa on my big screen over here. Great to see you, Vanessa. It's great to see you on my big screen. You're over here. Great. It's like you're running this with me. That's awesome. You've got a great backdrop. You're somewhere in a wonderful place. And often getting the sunset over there. Or sunset, I would say, right? It would be the sunset where you're at. You're not getting a sunrise, a sunset. And great to see your family dancing again. And great to see all these faces. Christine's here. Lucy's here. Catherine's here and Elizabeth's here, so we'd love to see your faces. So if you turn on your cameras, it'll be great to see who we're talking to. When we run our programs, we like to have this personal connection with people. Hey, Lucy, great to see you smiling. And Elizabeth's here. Well, I saw your results coach backdrop. Put your results coach up there. That's fantastic. Great to see that things are working out for you. So you're great. We want to see you face to face. And of course, a lot of the work that we do here, this is recorded, so we'll turn it into MP3. It will be a podcast. You can listen to it later on. But of course, interacting face to face, that's what makes it special as we do the work. So let's get started. And before we do, why don't we just quickly go around the room? Maybe 1 or 2 people can tell us what's been happening for them. Maybe it's been a while since you've been in these masterclasses with us. Or maybe you were here last fortnight. As you know, we're starting to do things a little bit differently. If you're hopping onto Facebook, you probably see we're streaming live right now in our Facebook group, the Evolve from the Inside Out. So we're going live there as well. So some people may be watching there, not necessarily in the Zoom room. So they may, well, if you want to participate in the breakouts and all the other extra bits and pieces, obviously you'll participate through the Zoom room, people watching Facebook, and also streaming through our YouTube channel. So if all the buttons and technology is working, that is what is happening. So we're testing all these different type of technology and testing how we can get our message out there. And it's interesting. I went out with a friend and I had a coffee. We had a great chat. I just met this person. We're just having a discussion about life. And she's a writer and she writes novels and she writes scripts and she writes movies. And it was interesting just to have a chat to her about her background and about her travels and everything else. And we started talking about what's happening in the world and her take on what's going on in the world. And I said to her, well, so what's your message? And she said, well, it's not so much about a message. I think so many people think they need to have a message. It's not about having a message, it's about getting involved with a conversation. I thought, wow, that was a great reframe. So I've taken that on board, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not here to, are we here to share a message, or are we here to actually get involved with a conversation? What's a conversation we need to start getting involved with? What's the conversation about life or with life? Start having a conversation with your kids, the conversation with your significant other, the conversation with your friends, the conversation with the people that you serve. Get in the conversation. A lot of people are sitting back from the conversations that they need to have. They think that you need to have a message, to stand up and speak up and to show up. Well, that's important. But how does that happen? You've got to get involved with the conversation first. So maybe that's the takeaway. How do you get involved in the conversation? And when you get involved with the conversation, you start sharing your point of view, your thoughts, your ideas. And that could be what other people need to hear at that moment in their life in order for them to be able to take something from that interaction and perceive something differently in terms of what's going on. And as they do that, the internal representation changes, how they do things in their head, and life changes for them. And so yeah, that's my little thing I had on during the week. So who wants to share what's been happening for you? Liz, we haven't spoken to you for such a long time. Betty, let's see what's been going on for you. Great to have you in the room. Just open up your mic and say hi.
Let me unmute myself. Hi, Arthur. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Hi, Dean. Hi, how are you?
How have you been? It's good to see you.
Yep, I've been well. Things are happening.
Yeah.
Good to see you too. I just saw your message the other day and I thought, let me jump in and see what's going on. And I actually love the topic conversation. I was just thinking about that the other day about communication. Everything's communication. I was just talking to this woman the other day and I go, everything is communication, just how we see things and how we make decisions in life. So I like the topic.
Good, great. Well, good to have you here, Liz. And what's one big thing that's happened for you in 2002? What's one big win for yourself? If you want to share with us, what's the one big win? What can you share?
Big win. I've just been doing some like masterclasses like you. Like I've just been getting out there and talking.
Good.
and my public speaking was the first time when I spoke at your event. So that always comes back in my mind, and yeah, it's getting better and better. So
good.
That's my win. I've been getting out there a bit more and talking, and
that goes. It's going back a bit. I remember that girl in front of the room doing one of these things, and and
I still do a bit of those ones, but.
Well, Betty, it's great to have you in the room, and thanks for showing up today. So
let's get one more. Perfect, doesn't it?
Well, practicing perfectly makes perfect. So the fact that you're practicing is great, but you're here to sharpen the saw. You're here to actually be able to perfect your craft. And this is the whole idea of masterclasses, guys. Whatever it is that you've learned, whatever wonderful modalities under your belt, whether you've learned some energy work, some massage, aromatherapy, naturopathy, or NLP, hypnosis coaching, whatever type of coaching it is that you do. Yeah, practice makes perfect, but practicing perfectly is actually more specific. And so how do you learn it perfectly? You need to sharpen, so you need to master your craft. You need to keep on showing up to continue to learn. So many people do something once and they think, well, that's it, I've learned it, I've done this, why do I need to do it again? I don't have time for this. Well, tell that to Tony Robbins, who did his one workshop that started everything for him with Jim Rohn, that weekend workshop, he did 74 times. So if you're wanting a strategy in terms of perfecting your craft, well, do something you started on a journey 74 times. So the fact that you're here doing masterclasses and sharpening saw is a testament to you. So I want to congratulate all of you for doing that. So thanks, Betty, again. So why don't we go to Michael? Michael, what have you been up to? Great to see you in the house.
Since I saw you last, I've been doing my getting stuck into my goals. So that's 5 goals that I set for the fortnight.
Yeah, the 5 tasks for the fortnight. Awesome. Yeah.
So I've spent the last couple of days in my wardrobe.
Okay, so you actually can walk through the wardrobe. You're actually cleaning it up.
Yeah, you can actually get into it.
Yeah, well, and that's progress.
That's
all you need to do.
progress.
Progress, every little step counts, you know. And this is the thing, right? A lot of us want to be able to change our life overnight or within a week. And we set this whole to-do list and this plan. And you know, Monday we're excited to get something done. And Monday comes and it's like, well, let's get started. And we'll start tomorrow. And by the time Wednesday, you still got a bit of energy. You might be doing one little thing. And come Friday or Saturday, like, you've only done one or two things on that list. And you think, oh my God, I'm not going to get there. And you sort of set yourself up to beat yourself up. And you never really get started. So what if you did small things, little things along the way, baby steps? You know, it's the small steps that amount to the big change. And so we'll be talking about, we mentioned to you guys the last couple of times we've been on that we're going to be, well, we're launching it tonight and we're going to start it next week. It's our Grow Thyself program. It's a 52-week program. I won't call it a challenge. It's a challenge for you in order for you to step up. But it's a 52-week program that we're going to be coming to in our group, the Evolve from the Inside Out group. And we're going to be coming to you live with a tip every week. One tip for us to focus on. We're going to give you 52 tips. We're going to cover the areas of health, finances, personal growth, spirituality, relationships. One tip every week. We're also going to come, you know, twice a week we're going to come to you live on a Friday, on Monday and a Thursday. We'll give you a tip and then we might give you a reflection affirmation that you can work on, and then the next week we're going to give you a review of a book. So it's going to be like a book club. So it's going to be you know, stuff that we're going to share and grow together. And if you show up every week and contribute in the group, you're going to get lots out of it. I mean, it's like life, right? You only get really what you put in. It's not so much sitting back and waiting for things to happen. You need to allow the flow of life through you, but it also implies that you need to be proactive in actually giving energy back and into the universe and into life to actually, you know, cycle it to everywhere else it needs to go. So thanks, Michael, and great for you getting that done. Okay, guys, let's start. We got a big night ahead, and just looking at the time, and we want to make sure we get this done. So we welcomed everyone. Like we know, all of you know, in our training, if you haven't been in our training before, grab a pen, grab a paper, and always take notes. You know, some of these things that we'll talk about you may have heard before, but I can guarantee that you weren't the same person that you are today when you heard them before. So then, have you really heard them before? You may have heard the words before, but if you have a different perspective of something, the second time you hear it, the third time you hear it, the fourth time you hear it, maybe you didn't hear it the first 2 or 3 times. Maybe it was just scratching the surface. Maybe it's like, well, how many times do you need to chip at the wall before the wall or that boundary or that block or that obstacle actually is broken for you? So let's not discard just because you've heard it before. It doesn't mean you're not going to pick up something different this time. So take notes. Take notes in terms of the things that actually trigger you, the things that trigger you, the things that you want to, as I suppose, lean into. The obstacle is the way. We're on holiday. You know, what is in the way becomes the way. And that creates an awareness for you to actually move down the path of growth. And, you know, write down the emotions when you feel good, because here's the thing. Your emotions are your guide. When you're feeling good about yourself and you're feeling that things are happening, that's when you're allowing life. When you're not feeling good, when you're feeling resistance, when you're feeling some sort of constriction, then there's some resistance in your life, not allowing it to flow in your life. Maybe we're getting on our high horse and we want to take a stand with a message because we want things to change. Well, here's the thing, you know. People don't change unless they want to change, right? And we'll be talking about change and resistance in a second as we go through that. You know, operating agreements, so obviously coming through, streaming through live. Obviously everyone's unmuted here. Sorry, muted. We'll unmute you if we want to have a conversation. And we just respect each other's, I suppose, privacy. You can communicate and chat in the room with each other. And, you know, it's an interactive type of thing. It's not necessarily a webinar where you just see me in a little corner and do some slides. I want to interact with you guys. And so if you accidentally get kicked out, you can come back in. But if you're registered, you also, you know, in the groups, you'll be able to go back and have watch the live recording in our Facebook group or in our YouTube channel. So, you know, this is part of our MBX Evolution program, guys. It's our new revised MBX Evolution program. And we're continuing to do more things that we'll share with you at the end of the night. So this is really the journey that people take with us. We're here in the community down the bottom. We created a community where people come together, we share some stuff. This is where the Grow Thyself program is going to be. Then we have our evolution, where we do these masterclasses and a whole range of other things. Leadership, something most of you have done, which is our NLP training. It's the first step for you to actually change your thinking and start embracing life from a different perspective and start connecting to your true self, the reason why you exist, the reason why you chose to come on this planet, and live your life in a more gracious way, in a more magical way is probably the best word to use, because once you let go of the things that you're holding on, you're starting to experience a different set of emotions. Then life really is something to revere as opposed to something to complain about. The masses just point the finger. Where, you know, really that program, that leadership program, is where you learn to no longer point the way, but show the way by actually doing the work that you need to do. Here's the group, guys, our Evolve group. A lot of you are part of that, and we're obviously growing our numbers with that. So the question that we always ask when we start our program is, what are you envisaging to have your life feel like? And that's important. I'm going to get to why we talk about your feeling in a second. What are you envisioning in your life to feel like in 2022? You know, it was only yesterday you can think about, well, 2021 is over, we're New Year's Eve 2022, all these new goals, all these new dreams, all these new aspirations. And you all know the science and you all know the figures, right, that really by the third week of January, all the goals and resolutions people have set, well, they haven't happened. Most are not getting where they want to go. They're falling into old patterns. They're falling into living life the way they lived. You're excited. Yeah, it's exciting for everyone to actually start with a clean slate. If you had a chance to actually wipe all the stuff that for some reason you're holding on to, that's bothering you, that's creating some resistance in you, if you wiped it all, wouldn't it feel great to start again with a clean slate? And somehow on an unconscious level, maybe we give ourselves permission to do that at the end of each year and the beginning of the new year. But it doesn't take long to fall back in those patterns, doesn't it? So every time something happens to us, we know that we've got two choices. And we mentioned this time. The choices are this. Every time something happens, you're being presented with two choices. You can either evolve or repeat. You evolve by thinking, well, normally I would do this. Based on my experiences in the past, this is what I did. This is how I react. When you react, you're repeating. When you think about your action purposefully and you deliberately create what it is that you want to experience, then you're moving towards the evolution route. So either you evolve or repeat. We know that the power is in the present moment. But the question is, how do you choose to use the present moment, guys? Because you either make the present just a recollection of the past, a rerun of the past, or you make the present a moment that you say, okay, who do I need to be today in order for me to actually start moving forward and living the life that I'm destined to live? Living a life congruent with my values, living a life congruent with who I want to be. And so that implies that you know who you want to be. It implies that you know what it is that you want to be moving towards, that you are a possibilitarian as opposed to someone who's just caught up in effect. Now, life is a pendulum, guys, because you know there's people that just get caught up being in the past. So the pendulum swings so far over here, they're caught up in the past. So they're out of balance. They're not in the present moment. And you've got people where the pendulum swings so far here in the future, where they're just in the future. They're just talking about the goals, setting goals, changing goals, and making a formula about setting the goals. It's always about having the right goal and never do anything about it today. Both of them are an avoidance of something today. Both of that, for me, is an avoidance of them experiencing their true potential, their light, their brilliance, and be able to forge ahead. Maybe having the conversation they need to have so they can finally rise up with their message. And the message really is their story. Their mess, if they look at it from that perspective, has become their message. And within that mess, they discovered their calling. And within that mess, they discovered the reason why they exist. I was listening to a podcast this morning from David Deagle, who's interviewing Anne Williams, and a person who was paralysed and had, you know, all these this journey that he went through, and obviously working with his mindset to be able to overcome that. And he said that when he was going through what he was going through, his journey, he was in hospital, he just had this message from God that was coming to him. And it was that, how can he create leverage from what has happened to him in order for him to create what he wants in his life. So all of you, I want you to think about, within your mess, within your problem, within the experiences you had, there's an opportunity for you to create leverage from that story that'll help you create what it is that you want in your life. And that leverage is, well, how can you use that story to help other people overcome similar obstacles and similar challenges? So you all know who I am. You know, I've done quite a few things in the industry, and this year, well, I'm not saying that we're doing things any different, but I think maybe we're different. We're all different. And we've got a mission to really make a difference this year with the work that we do. And what I mean by that is, well, we'll talk about it at the end, because I think so many people don't do this work on themselves because, number one, they don't know what it's really about. And many people, well, they're not in a position to be able to invest in themselves because of the challenge that they've gone through over the last 2 years. We want to be able to overcome that and give an opportunity to actually take that step to come out of this mess and do the work that they need to do so we can raise human consciousness and give people an opportunity to actually, well, live a better quality of life. I believe everyone deserves a second chance. And I think if we're kinder with people and we look at everyone saying, hey, you know, you deserve a second chance, what is that we can do to give someone a second chance? Because somewhere along the line in life, I know that you wanted a second chance, or you needed a second chance, and maybe someone gave you that chance. Maybe it's time for you to pay that forward and say, well, how can I help other people with a second chance? So this is the masterclass that might give us a second chance, the way we look at what we're experiencing in our life, the art of allowing. So let's get started, guys. So I start with this slide, and I'm going to move straight into what we're talking about tonight. And of course, in the coaching space, people come in and say, well, they come in because essentially they're not experiencing what they want to experience yet. I want you to think about that. Only people come and see you because they're not where they want to be yet. I've never had a client that comes in and says, you know, Arthur, I've got to tell you, mate, life is friggin' awesome, man. I can't explain it to you. It's like, I'm just so happy, just everything's happening for me. My relationships, my friendships, my partner, man, it's so intimate. I've never experienced this connection before. My health, I'm at the peak of my game. I've dropped kilos, I'm energy, vitality. Everything is just happening for me. Can you help me? You never get anyone like that, right? Nothing's going well for someone to come and get some. Obviously, something's missing in their life, which implies that they're not completely fulfilled yet. I want you to think about that. Maybe they're experiencing physical pain within their body, so they're not experiencing the freedom that they can have within their body, being pain-free, and the things that they want to do being pain-free. Maybe they're not where they want to be with their relationships. Maybe they're not where they want to be with their finances. Maybe they're not where they want to be with their career or their health. And so we seek advice. We seek a professional. We seek someone in the field to be able to help us do that. And so they go and seek a life coach. And a life coach or is someone that helps someone along the way on that journey. So let me ask you, if we're going to talk about the art of allowing and what it implies to you, we're talking about in order for you to be able to create what you want in your life. So let's take a snapshot. Where are you right now in your life? I want you to think about, what are the key areas in your life? Where are you with your health and fitness? Where are you with your spirituality? Where are you with your career, your family, your relationships, your personal growth? Are you where you want to be yet? It's interesting to say that because, you know, what's counterintuitive is, are we ever there? Do we ever get to yet? All right, wherever yet is. We make it about the acquisition or the achievement of that extrinsic goal. It's not necessarily about that goal. It's important to actually set an outcome or an intention for us to be moving forward, but it's really who we discover ourselves to be along the way of becoming that, or getting that, I suppose. What type of person do we become along the way? What type of person have you become along your spiritual journey? What type of person have you become along your career? What type of person have you become along in your family journey, your relationships journey, and personal growth journey? And you won't discover that unless you actually set a direction in terms of where you're headed. Be clear in terms of where you want to go, but then what do you do afterwards? How's that going for you? So we're asking you, where are you in your life right now? So then as we think of that, let me ask you this question. As you think about where you are in these areas, in your health and fitness, your spirituality, your career, your family, relationships, and your personal growth, let me ask you this. What are you allowing in your life? Because if, as we said, people are here to learn, or they come and see a coach because somewhere it's implied they're not where they want to be yet. So what are you allowing in your life, or more importantly, not allowing in your career? What are you not allowing with your family? What are you not allowing in your spirituality? What are you not allowing in your relationships? What are you not allowing in your personal growth? What are you now not allowing in your health and fitness? Maybe things that you're not allowing are things that you stand for, and you say, there's no way, they're my non-negotiables. And you might think that's good because you've got some clarity, but are those non-negotiables charged? Do they create constriction in the body, or they create expansion when you think about it in terms of how you can grow from that? So what are you allowing in your life? What's working for you? What's working for you in your family? What are the things that are working for you in your family? What's working for you in your career? What's working for you in your spirituality, your relationships, your personal growth, and your health and fitness? What is working for you? And I suppose the next question is, well, not suppose, I know what the next question is. Well, if that's what's working for you, what's not working for you? So just write that down, because you want to get clarity here, guys. What's not working for you in your career and your finances right now? Write that down. Maybe put that in that chat. Let's burn some bridges and let's have a conversation. What's not working for you in your spiritual growth? What's not working for you in your family? You know, interesting, these are the questions I asked myself, and you know, when I separated from my wife 3 years ago, what wasn't working for me? What was working for me? What wasn't working for me? What was I allowing or not allowing in my life? And when you think about that, when you think about what it is that you're allowing and what's working for you, more importantly, what's not working for you, the reason why things aren't working for you, there's only really one reason. Something gets in the way. Something gets in the way of the flow of life in your family, the flow of life within your career, the flow of life within your relationships, the flow of life within your personal growth or health and fitness and spirituality. So what is it that you think gets in your way? Let's put in the chat. Tell me, what do you think gets in the way? Just put some stuff in the chat. I'll be right back. I had a set of notes on my table. I need to go and get those notes. Right now, there's some stuff I need to read. Yeah, just put in the chat, guys, what gets in the way? What you think gets in the way? I'll grab these notes and I'll come back into my studio. What gets in the way? Right, got my notes. So what gets in the way? Fear, all right. Not being flexible enough with my family, saying Dean. Michael saying that's just, he said that before. So fear, not being flexible is getting what's in the way. Yeah, I would say fear, but what is fear? What does fear create? All right. Career, the thing step. What's the thing step, Michael? Something gets in the way. You know what gets in the way? Not having confidence. Okay. Well, they all sound good. Here's what gets in the way. Resistance gets in the way. Your resistance to the very thing that you don't want is what gets in the way. I want you to write that down. The resistance to the very thing that you don't want is what gets in the way. Because the very thing that you don't want is actually life. It's an experience of life. It's part of life. And when we resist the flow of life, we let life be blocked. And so we attract more blocked life. Interesting, hey? We'll talk more about that. Resistance gets in the way. Moved with the flow. This is Oprah's quote. Don't fight the current. Resist nothing. Let life carry you. Don't try to carry it. So many people attempt to do life as opposed to let life, I'm not saying let life do you, but let life flow through you. Experience the square peg. Don't attempt to put the square peg in the round hole. You might not like the square peg, but if you've been presented the square peg, you've been presented with the experience of the square peg. To resist the experience means you're attracting resistance. And the only reason you resist is because you have a trigger of the square peg. Because maybe you like a round peg. Am I making any sense? So resistance gets in the way. So I want you to think about, what is it that you've been resisting, guys? Resistance gets in the way. What are you resisting? We can say the reason is fear, the reason lack of confidence, yeah, but what are you resisting? You're giving fear the excuse. We're giving fear the airtime and the reason why we're resisting something. So it's easy to use fear, correct? It's easy to use a lack of confidence. So what are you resisting? Elizabeth says, good question. So I'm looking forward to a good answer. So what are you, in fact, what are you resisting right now? Where do you feel that resistance? When you think about the thing that you're resisting in your life right now, and if you're game enough, just put it in the chat. Just put in the chat. Or write it down for yourself. And as you think about the very thing that you're resisting, where do you feel that resistance? Because resistance is constricting. It's not expansive. Life is expansive. As soon as you're in resistance, you're actually contracting. You're constricting life. You're causing blocks of chi within your body. So Liz is saying she's feeling that constriction, the resistance in her tummy. Michael's saying you're resisting the next step, whatever that may be. So as you think of taking the next step, where do you feel that, Michael? And what is that resistance? Because you know what Carl Jung said. We've learnt it. What you resist persists. So if you keep on resisting the very thing, which is the problem, which is the thing that you don't want, you think, okay, well, who wants that anyway? But I'm going to resist. I'm going to fight so hard not to get that. Where is your focus? Where is your attention? On the very thing that you don't want. And your focus and attention is there so much because you've got such a trigger with that in your life, which means one thing. And we'll learn that thing towards later in the presentation. Just want to make sure we keep you here, right? So resistance gets in the way. Here's a question. What are you missing by resisting? What are you missing in your life by resisting? I see a smile there, Christine. Something's come up for you. What are you missing in your life by resisting? Do you know, it's a great quote I've written down. I was listening to the podcast and took this note. Resistance, write this down. Resistance is the glue that keeps the pain in. Resistance is the glue that keeps the pain in the body. So if you've got pain, you have resistance. So you're a body worker and you're working with someone, they've got pain somewhere. Well, that pain's resistance of something in their life. Where is that in their body? We can do some somatic therapy, you can maybe, or the Chinese medicine, you understand what does that body symbolize? What's the emotion? And it might be a negative emotion that's attached to it, but are they resisting negative emotion? You know what they're resisting? They're resisting healing the negative emotion. They're resisting the change. See, Bob Proctor said this. People don't resist change. They resist being changed. People don't resist change, they resist being changed. Remember, growing might feel like breaking at first. We all want to grow because that's what is at the core of our heart, our spirit, our soul. That's why we exist here on this planet, to grow, evolve ourselves as a human being, a human spirit. The one reason that people resist change, because they focus on what they have to give up, as opposed to focusing what they have to gain. Wow. People resist change because they focus on what they have to give up rather than focusing on what they have to gain. I want you to understand, guys, change is inevitable. Resistance is optional. Change is inevitable. Nothing is forever. Your resistance is optional. And you choose it. So when you choose resistance to the change which is inevitable, you are blocking the flow of life. As you have chosen to experience life flow through you on this planet. Interesting, isn't it? So then what's your next step? If it's about resistance, what's your next step? What would be, or what could be, or what's your next level of happiness, your next level of freedom, fulfillment, and success? How do you get to that next level? Your next level of success comes down to your next level of ownership. And what do you need to own? It's time for you to own your future. It's time for you to understand that you have the power within your mind, within your heart, to create the future, to align the divine mind with your heart and your spirit, and tune into the frequency and vibration that attracts all that you were destined to experience in your life as a result of that frequency and vibration. Because if you take up the option of resistance, remember, change is inevitable. Resistance is optional. But you take up that option and your resistance, what is your frequency? You're resisting change. You're resisting the future. Because change is inevitable. And what's attached to that is probably, well, might be fear. It might be like, well, things will never be like they used to be. I'm never going to find someone that loves me. I'm never going to find a job. I'm never going to be able to make the same money. What if? It's what if negative, like we talked about now in one other podcast, another show, as opposed to what if it was positive. Fear is just a what if statement followed by a negative. What if you flipped it and said a what if statement followed by a positive? Remember, guys, old ways don't open new doors. So the old ways of maybe setting goals, the old ways of setting outcomes, the old ways of have a point, and they all have valid methodologies and processes and philosophies and maybe ancient wisdoms behind them in order for you to attract the very thing in your life. But how do you do it? What is it that we don't necessarily learn in schools? What is it if we did learn how to put in place would allow us to actually live a better quality of life, experiencing life for what it is and bringing all the things which are important to us and that we all deserve? So what we're going to share with you are the 3 universal laws of manifesting. And how the law of allowing, which is a 3rd law, is the one that amplifies the other 2. Because most of us are pretty good with the first one and the second one, but the most hardest one to put in place is to live a life or the path of least resistance. Imagine living a life of least resistance. When I say least, think about how much resistance you've lived your life with. Yeah? Think about how much resistance you live your life with. What would your life be like if you had less resistance to stuff? Just go back and think about interaction with a person, maybe at work, a significant other, with your kids. What were you holding on to? What were you resisting? What was the point that you wanted to make? What was it you weren't, well, just letting be? It's interesting, isn't it? So let's have a look at these three universal laws and how the law of allowing plays into these three. The first law, we know it. Whether you want happiness, whether you want success, whatever it is that you want in your life, relationships, purpose, it's the law of attraction. Right? Now I've got Michael on my other screen. I don't know why I've got Michael on the other screen. I thought I was going to be on the other screen. Let me see if this works. I'll go speaker view. Michael's on the screen. That doesn't work. Maybe I need to put myself on the spotlight myself for everyone. That works, for me at least. And then I'll put myself in gallery and I still got myself on the spotlight. Okay, so the law of attraction, guys. Now you've heard the law. I'm not going to really teach you something that you haven't learned. But maybe as we talk about it and discuss it, maybe you'll take a different perspective on it. So what is the law of attraction? Let's share with you the law of attraction. The first fundamental universal law is the law of attraction. You know it. Now, have you ever, you come in contact with a client or just a friend, you've just been somewhere at the right place at the right time? Have you ever experienced just being in the right place at the right time? Things just happened? Well, if you said yes, then that's evidence of the law of attraction working in your life. Somehow you attracted that energy, that vibration, that experience to match where you were and where you're vibrating. See, the law of attraction, guys, it says, it's like, well, if you look at the definition, the many definitions that you come across, is that which is likened to is drawn. That's important. That which is likened to is drawn. Likened to what? Likened to you. That is likened to you is drawn to you. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is likened to is drawn to you. Oh, you might say not all the time, because that angry person I attracted, that wasn't me. Really? So you're saying it only works sometime for you? Well, I want you to understand that law of attraction is working all the time. It's working right now. It's like attracts like, but what like are we talking about? It's not like clothes. It's not like words. It's your frequency. It's your vibration. And it comes from your thoughts. We've got everything we experience in life is a mirror of our thoughts, guys. Where are your thoughts? Your thoughts create your frequency, your vibration. The law of attraction is always working for you. You may not like some of the experiences that you have, but instead of resisting what is, look at what in your life is in your life clearly. See that it is a reflection of your thoughts and your energy. So whatever it is that you attract in your life, whether it's something that you want or something that you don't want, it's a reflection of your energy. It's a reflection of your vibration. It's a reflection of where you've chosen to be in that moment. You know that. So how's it going for you? Because you might think, oh, I haven't really had it working for me, or I don't know how to use that. Well, hello. As we said, it's working all the time. Your life right now is a mirror reflection of where your thoughts have been and where your vibration has been. So if you're not exactly where you want to be, it's because you have been vibrating exactly where you need to be. You've been vibrating in a position where you don't know where you want to be, or you're not comfortable with where you want to go. Am I making any sense? So even though consciously you want to go somewhere, on an unconscious level, when you think about that thing, it's creating a frequency which is keeping you where you're at. Or keeping you attracting what you've got in your life. And you think, how come it's not working for me? People think, I'll just sit on the couch and visualize positive stuff. I'll visualize success. I'll visualize happiness. And I'll visualize winning the lotto. And I'll feel really good about that. But you need to buy a ticket, right? Which means you need to get in the game. You need to fuel that desire with energy, your life force. Which means the law of attraction won't work if we don't understand the second law. We know how law of attraction works, like attracts like. So frequency, that is likened to is drawn to you. So then if that's the case, we can't just think happiness and happiness comes to us. What do we need to do? We need to do deliberate actions to create what we want in life. So the second law is the law of deliberate creation, guys. So if you want to manifest, law number one, law of attraction, we know that. But we don't really, no one talks about the law of deliberate creation, how to actually make the law of attraction work better for you, because it's working now. But how can you tweak it to make it work better for you? Now, this is not necessarily new stuff. I'm actually following the teachings of Abraham and Esther Hicks, if you've done some of their work. The 3 universal laws of manifestation. But you can Google and it'll say 12 universal laws of manifestation, 7 universal laws of manifestation, 5 universal laws of manifestation. Everyone's going to have some laws. They all work. Essentially, they're all an extension of what we're talking about. The law of deliberate creation. Now, let's have a look at this one. The law of deliberate creation states, that which I give thought to. That which I give thought to. Now, that's intentional, right? Purposeful. That which I believe, that which I allow, or that which I expect is. The word deliberate emphasizes our intentions, which means you have to have clarity. It's essential. You need to know exactly what you want, what you're choosing in your life. The problem really is most of us, we don't do it deliberately, we don't create our life deliberately. Most of us are creating our life unconsciously. You know why? We might stop and think what we want, and then we say, okay, well, universe will provide. And we let our unconscious programs take over. Or we just live life on autopilot, a mediocre life. When you start to live your life intentionally, you start moving forward purposefully, you become a possibilitarian, you move away from the mediocre life. When people live a life of randomness leads to mediocrity. So as we think about the law of deliberate creation, is simply understanding the law of attraction and consciously and deliberately choosing the thoughts and emotions that make you feel better. So the law of deliberate creation says, I understand the law of attraction. I understand that what that is like until I draw it toward me. So then if I want something in my life, I need to consciously and deliberately choose that emotion, choose that experience. I need to choose abundance. I need to choose happiness. A lot of people say they want it, but they're not choosing it. Why? You know why they're not choosing it? Because they're still holding on to stuff from the past. On an unconscious level, they believe, well, happiness will create hurt. That money is the root of all evil. And we'll look at some of these obstacles later on. It's our belief systems. So we need to do the work. Deliberate creation is opposite of self-sabotaging. What's our self-sabotaging? It's our belief systems, our thoughts. Deliberate creation, it is a vibrational frequency of the highest making based on one's expansion of energy. So I want you to think about something. You know what's I did this exercise. I was doing a program with Kerwin Rain. It was an awesome exercise. And how do we make a decision? if you're challenged in making a decision, you've got A and B, right? And once you take on A, and it's real quick, just take on A. Think about A. And as you think about A, doing A and going down the A pathway, just notice in your body, is it expansive or constrictive? That's all you need to do. Clear the screen or clear your body. Take on B. As you think of taking on B, do you feel more expansive or constrictive? Real simple. One or the other is going to make you feel more expansive than the other. Why won't you move towards expansion? Most people move towards constriction. You know why? Because they're living, it's a self-sabotage, they're living on autopilot. They're choosing frequencies of a lower frequency. Now, if you've done any work over, you read a book, David Hawkins, The Power versus Force. In that book, he's got a map of consciousness and the different frequencies of the different emotions and experiences in life. Like, we've got shame and guilt and fear, all lower vibrations. And we've got, courage, neutrality, happiness, bliss, higher vibrations. So how do you live in the higher frequency? Most people live in that shame, in that guilt, in that fear, the lower frequencies. They consciously say, I've done the work, but they're still resisting. They're saying, I'm moving here, not to pull it into my life by who I've become. I'm moving here because I don't bloody want that in my life anymore. So I'm going that way, keeping my eyes here. Keep away from me, keep away from me, keep away from me, keep away from me. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm moving where I want to go, but where's my focus? Resistance can push you. It can push a square peg in a round hole. You can get it in there. But that's not natural. That's not life. That's not the flow of life. That's you attempting to create life the way you want it. It's your exercise, or it's your, what's the word? It's the way you are experiencing or allow yourself to experience certainty in your life. And you do that through controlling behavior. You need to control. As you clear your mind and life of obstacles and resistance, your energy will expand, guys. You'll attract what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. The more excitement and enthusiasm you generate around something that you want in your life, the quicker the manifestation will attract, bring into your life. Can you be enthusiastic and excited with something that you got resistance on? So if you're resisting relationships, you're saying, no way, I just want to be down there, I want to be happy and free, whatever the situation is. Where's your focus? You're not allowing yourself to experience life as it's presented for you or before you. And you're sending a message to the universe that you're already in a constrictive energy and vibration. So we've got the law of attraction. Like attracts like, so your frequency will attract the frequency. So we know how that works. It's been working for us, it's working right now, it's working for us all our life. Where we are right now in our vibration is what we bring into our life. So if we've brought angry people in our life, somewhere we've been vibrating some anger. If we brought confusion in our life, somewhere we're confused. If we've brought happiness in our life, somewhere we're happy. So think about it, when you're happy, when you're excited, when you're enthusiastic, what's happened that you didn't? Or what did you do that you didn't do when you're attracting or somehow getting all these things which are, bloody hell, nothing's happening for me. I got this and I got that and I got this and I can't do that and can't do that. Well, what are you resisting? So we know our frequency attracts life. But the question is, are you deliberately thinking about the frequency that you want to put yourself in? Are you waking up every morning being conscious and living intentionally with the vibration that you want to put out? How do you choose to show up? People say, show up every day. Show up how? Do you want to show up with a negative energy every day, or do you want to show up every day with a positive energy? Show up every day connected to your spirit. Show up every day connected to your heart. Show up every day in a more expansive zone. Show up every day willing to learn. Show up every day willing to be vulnerable. Show up every day willing to express yourself in such a way that you allow life to flow through you and because of you and not to you. So how do you do that? Well, it's this last law. It's this last law that amplifies the law of attraction and the law of deliberate creation. Because people say, man, I'm doing that. I'm focusing on what I want. And I'm being conscious and intentional. You know those people. I mean, I suppose you've done it too. Haven't you been clear on what you want? You've visualized it. You've done some meditation on it. And you've been conscious and intentional. How's it going for you? Because they're the steps. And if it's not happening, you're missing a step. Guess what you're missing? What you allow in your life is what will continue in your life. What you allow in your life is what will continue in your life. So what you're missing is the understanding of the law of allowing. Because everything you're experiencing in your life right now, you might say consciously I didn't allow that, not consciously. But at an unconscious level, that's what you allowed. That's where your frequency has been. That's where there's been a mismatch, an incongruency with what you consciously want and you unconsciously want. And so here's the thing, law of attraction, right? I want to think about happiness and success and being free and loving relationships and having lots of money. Now, if that's what I want consciously, do I vibrate what I'm thinking consciously or do I vibrate what I'm thinking unconsciously? I vibrate what I'm thinking unconsciously. So if I've got a charge with success, if I've got a charge with happiness, if I've got a charge with being in a relationship, if I've got a charge with love, and I haven't addressed it yet, the more I think of I want love, I want happiness, what comes up? More of my charge. More the zzz, more that frequency of constriction, what's going to come in your life? So the more you affirm the very thing that you want, the more you're going to get the very thing that you don't want because, well, for some reason, you're resisting what you consciously want. Because at a deep core level, maybe you're running a belief system that you don't believe you're worth it or you deserve it or that you're a good person or whatever it might be. And so that resistance is stopping you from allowing life to flow through you. And we know we resist by how we communicate with other people, how we interact with other people, and how we interact with life and how we show up every day. So let me share with you the law of allowing. This third universal law says, I am that which I am. This is from Abraham S. Hicks. I am that which I am, and I am willing to allow others to be that which they are. I am that which I am, and I'm willing to allow others to be that which they are. Are you allowing your kids to be that which they are? Are you allowing your partner to be that which they are? Or are you attempting to exercise some sort of control for you to get certainty and push a square peg in a round hole? In order to allow what you want to flow to you, this is a big one, guys. This hit me like a couple of tons of bricks. In order to allow what you want to flow to you, you must allow others to focus on what they want, even if you don't agree with it. Dean posted on Facebook today, I think he posted a message. You can't make people want what you want for them. True. So what's the secret? We got to be okay with what they want for themselves. We have to allow them that choice. We have to allow them to experience life, how they've chosen to experience life as a spirit, because they've come on this planet on their journey as well, the same way you've come on this planet on your journey. So to the extent that you attempt to control the flow of life in others, over how they've chosen to have life flow through themselves, is to the extent that your life will be controlled. And your issue in life becomes control. What you resist persists. And you work harder at it, you'll hustle, you'll attempt to put that square peg in that round hole. And you get to the point you realize, man, I'm going against the flow here. And if that's been you, because I know it's been me, I'm putting my hand up, then maybe that was the purpose of that experience, so you'd have that awareness. Simply put, allowing is the absence of doubt. Your desire can come to you very quickly, providing you got no resistance to it. How do you know if you're allowing? We mentioned this before. How do you know if you're allowing? By checking with your emotions. Your emotions are always going to be your guide. If you're feeling good, if you're in that zone, if you're in that flow, then you're allowing life to flow through you. And I know you've experienced those moments. Have you not? And those moments of life has just flown through you? But when you feel restriction, when you feel something's not quite right yet, when you're riddled with self-doubt, you know, the thief in the night that comes and steals your dreams and steals your future from you, it's called doubt. Where does that doubt come from? And because of that doubt, you constrict, you resist. It's what if, you start with the what if language, fear-based. So there's a resistance to the very experience that you want. There's resistance to success, because what if I don't succeed? So the more you resist it, guess what? What if I don't succeed? What are you resisting? Success. So what are you going to attract more in your life? Don't succeed. Because you haven't allowed success in. Or maybe you haven't allowed failure in. My friend Rocky Scolopetty is in the house. So your emotions are always going to be your guide, guys. When you're feeling good about yourself, when things are just flowing in your life, when things are just happening, you know things are happening. You're in flow. You're in that magic of life. It's your resistance to life that causes the pain. As I said before, resistance is the glue that keeps pain in your body. Of the three universal laws we talked about, guys, the law of attraction, which we know, like attracts like, so our frequency of vibrations, what we bring into our life. So we need to keep our thoughts positive, need to keep them pure, be happy. That sounds great, but it doesn't happen automatically. It doesn't happen autopilot. You need to do it deliberately and create that. So the second law is the law of deliberate creation. But how many of you, as we said, think about what you want, have positive thoughts, and you're conscious but still not working for you? Well, maybe you have resistance to something. Maybe the way you're living your life is an anti-way as opposed to a pro-way. I'll talk about that in a second. Of these three universal laws, guys, the law of attraction and deliberate creation, the law of allowing may be the most difficult to apply and to get your mind around, to get your heart around. The truth is that we say there, freedom is allowing circumstances to be what they are and people to be who they are. Can you allow circumstances to be what they are? Think about what's happening in the world today. Can you allow circumstances to be how they are? Do you allow people to be who they are. Whether you agree with the circumstances or whether you agree with the people or not, do you allow it? Do you allow life to be the way it is? Even when it comes to poverty, when it comes to war, when it comes to disease, do you allow it to be the way it is? Or do you find resistance to something that you're experiencing in life? Do you find restriction? When we start talking about the pandemic, do you find resistance? When you start talking about loss of freedoms and people telling us what to do you find resistance in your body? Or are you accepting of what is? See, what's the problem? It's exactly what we said, right? How in the world do you accept situations and people that stand for something that you don't? And what's your role? So does that mean we just don't do nothing? We just allow it to happen? Isn't it our job to stand up and speak up and stand out and make a difference? Yeah, I agree, but how do you make that difference? Do you make it through resistance? So you come across people that want the opposite that you want. Do you resist them? Do you attempt to convince them otherwise? Or do you allow them to be okay? Or are you okay with them wanting what they want? Are you still able to love them for the spirit that they are? Or do you think different of them because they think differently and have a different thinking? Because you are not your thinking, you know that. You're not your thoughts. You're the thinker of your thoughts. That's a Jim Fortinism. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. So we push back with our thinking, don't we? There's a war on crime, a war on poverty, a war on cancer. We have a campaign to say, just say no to drugs. So we say no to war. We say no to crime. We say no to poverty. We say no to being pushed around. No to people taking away our freedoms. What are we restricting? Is that expansive or restriction? What do you think? Expansion or restriction? It's restriction, isn't it? It's not expansive. Yet understanding the law of attraction, whatever you are focused on, you attract more of. When you are focused on what you don't want, in an effort to defeat or resist it, this is huge. Write this part down. When you're focused on what you don't want, in an effort to defeat it or resist it, because of the trigger it's causing you, correct? You're not allowing what you do want to flow to you. Boom, that's the whole message for the night. When you're focused on what you don't want and you put so much energy and effort to defeat it, so much energy and effort to resist it, to block yourself from that environment, you're blocking yourself from the environment of growth. You're resisting the flow of life, of how your spirit chose for you to experience it, for you to rise up as a higher vibrationary being. Bean, not bean. You plant beans and you become a tree. So what's the solution, guys? Am I making sense with this? Are you connecting with it? Are you thinking about what you're resisting in your life? If we go back and think about what you're resisting. And then why are you resisting it? And how has that resistance stopped the life to flow through you? Imagine things are starting to happen for you and you're just attempting to, you know what, control it because you want it to be in a certain way. Life's starting to happen, you attempt to control it. You know, and you even get a message, you know what, hey, just go with the flow, man. Don't you just get it? Things are just happening here. But you still push? Wow. Where's that coming from? So what's the solution, guys? You know what the solution is? Instead of saying no to life, you need to just say yes. What if you didn't say no? What if you said yes? When you say yes to something, you attract more of that in your life because that is what you're focused on. When you say no to something, you attract more of that in your life because that is what you're focused on. So in order to allow what you want to flow to you, you must allow others to focus on what they want, even if you don't agree with it. You need to be okay with what they've said yes to. Because if you're not okay with what they've said yes to, you're not okay with life saying yes to you. Or you might say, do say yes. I say yes to not having that. I say yes to not that experience. I say yes. So you might say, I'm saying yes, but you're saying yes to a negative. Oh, you're saying yes to the not negative. Not yes to life. The opposite. In other words, be more consciously selective about where you choose to focus your attention. Rather than going into resistance about something that you don't want or you just don't agree with, you don't know about it, haven't been educated, you're ignorant, flip your thoughts. And flip into around what you do want and just say yes. Have a just say yes slogan. So if you don't want poverty, what do you want? Think those thoughts. If you don't want war, what do you want? Think those thoughts. If you don't want to be told what to do, what do you want? If you don't want a relationship, what do you want? People say, well, I don't want a relationship because it gives me this. So that's a complex equivalence. A relationship equals that. But if I want that, then I forego my relationship. So I'm always looking for a relationship, but I'm never going to have it because I believe that equals that. What if you can have them both together? What if you just said yes to the experience? What if life gave you the experience for you to experience them together, but you said no to it because you're coming from a constricting point of view? Does it make any sense? Where are we? We might have a bit of time for a bit of an exercise. Shall we do a little bit of a breakout? Let's do a breakout. How many we've got in the room? Now we can put, depending on, we might just put two of you together and you can go through these questions. What do you reckon? Let's give you some questions here. Because this is about social learning, right? We want you to experience the learning at the best possible level, and something happens through sharing. We've talked a lot. I want you to share with each other, right? Well, given that we've got a small group tonight, maybe we just do it as a group, right? Maybe we do it in the chat. Shall we do a group chat here? Let's do it all together here. So what was your biggest obstacle in 2021 and how did you overcome it? So let's go to Liz first. This is our group. This is our breakout. We're having a breakout together, right? We're not doing we'll just break out together as a small group. So Liz, I'll give you number one. So what was your
think of it, I don't know.
What was your biggest obstacle? What was the thing that you overcame in 2021? When you look back, what was the challenge that you overcame?
There was few, but I can't now recall any of them. It's just...
Well, if you allowed one to just pop up now, and if you don't know, just make it up. Allow your unconscious mind to come up with a story, right? So what did you overcome in 2021? What was the obstacle? What did you achieve? How did you overcome it? And we'll give you a few more seconds.
Yeah, get someone else. I can't come up with anything at the
I'll
moment.
come back to you. What about you, Mrs. Theory? What did you overcome in 2021?
What did I overcome?
We'll come back to you, Betty.
Biggest obstacle I overcame was losing my wife.
And how did you overcome it? I can't hear you. Let's see if that.
Wasn't I unmuted?
You were unmuted. So what I heard you say is the biggest obstacle I overcame was losing my wife, which implies you overcame it. How did you do it?
By eventually
Okay.
realising that it actually provided me with an opportunity to grow, to rise up, to become something new.
I want to give you kudos, my friend. That's beautiful, because what you've just done is you've taken an experience that I don't know what that would be like. I can imagine I've lost people close to me, but you reframed it and found the silver lining, found a positive for you to live your life forward, so you know that happened for a higher purpose. Which means that whenever anything happens in your life, you're always looking for the message and the higher purpose. Thank you so much for that, Michael. Okay, Liz, I'm coming back to you. What have you been resisting already in 2022? Maybe you're giving me an answer. So...
Well, you answered it before, just all that story that you were saying before, resisting, attracting, it's all happening like.
So what is it right now that you're resisting? What's the one thing that you're resisting right now? Already this year, what have you been resisting?
Taking that next step. I've been resisting that next step.
Okay. What is that resistance? Where do you feel it in your body?
Resistance. Where do I feel it? I feel it everywhere. My stomach, in my back, like it's tension.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a second. What would the consequences be if you don't let go of this resistance, or and you keep resisting it? What would the consequences be?
What would the consequences be?
Yeah.
The consequences will be...
If you keep on feeling in your stomach and your back, what do you think your body's going to do?
Yep.
Interesting, hey?
Yeah, interesting.
Because you're feeling your stomach and your back, so if you keep on resisting, that feeling in the stomach and the back's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then what do you think will happen if you keep on resisting?
Get sick.
And then if you keep on resisting, what will happen?
Get very sick, you can't even move. So resisting, you immobile yourself.
At least you'll be safe, right? You won't have to do the very thing you're resisting.
It's safe.
So think about that. I want everyone to think about the consequences, because thinking about the consequences could be the very thing that gets you off your backside to start moving forward. Thanks for that, Betty. Let's go to Christine. Christine, tell us, what are you going to start saying yes to in 2022? Give me your top 5. What are you going to say yes to?
For once in my life, I've accepted being treated with respect from a gentleman.
So you're saying yes to respect?
Yes, because I have never had that before from a man.
Okay, all right. Well, it's, you know, we can go back and talk about the 3 laws, right, and about vibration, but just say yes, respect, being treated with respect. What else are you going to say yes to?
Being happy and positive all through my life.
Okay, so yes to respect, yes to happy and being positive. What else are you saying yes to this year?
Things are changing.
And when you say things are changing, what are you saying yes to? You're saying yes to change?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you're saying yes to change. Great. So you're
Yes.
saying yes to change. What else are you saying yes to?
I can't say that.
Well, you can if you want. You've got to say yes to it.
No, Michael's words were absolutely beautiful, because I lost my partner last year in May and I've given up.
Okay, so what you're saying yes to is moving forward.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Good. So what's the opposite of giving up? Moving forward, not giving up, right? So if you're not giving up, moving forward. So remember, think the opposite. So imagine getting up every morning saying, writing all that down. saying yes to respect, yes to being happy and positive, yes to moving forward. All right? All the things that you said yes to, just write them down. And I want you to all think about, right, what 3 action steps will you implement today? Let's not leave today. Write down on a piece of paper in front of you. Maybe just put them in the chat. This is for everyone. What are 3 things that you'll do today that you can start saying, you can implement, so you can start saying yes to your life in 2022? How can you hold yourself accountable by doing these things? And there's a great question to share with your clients that you work with. So let's just put in the chat, what are we saying? What are people, how are you going to, what are the 3 action steps you're going to take? Let's just see some people put some action steps in the chat. I'm worth it, is saying Christine. So the action step is actually doing, believing that you're worth it, and thinking that, and actually doing inspired action towards validating your worth. So if you're worth it, maybe what could you do? Maybe buy a new outfit and wear, or buy yourself something, treat yourself something, so you can actually feel that you're worth exactly what you said you are. Let's get one more. Let's see someone put in that chat and we can talk about. So Michael's saying, think in the positive, absolutely. So that's an action step. Change instant no to my kids' behavior to what I would like them to do. Awesome, Dean. That's a clear action step. So being purposeful and intentional when you're about to say no, instead of saying no to the kids, directing to what you'd rather them doing. Okay, and that's being purposeful. All right, so thank you for that breakout. So let's do a review. Let's have a look at the art of allowing, the 3 big ideas that we can take away from what we've just talked about. The art of allowing is finding a balance between doing and being. It's not just sitting doing nothing and allowing it. You need to do, what do you need to do? You need to be aligned with your frequency. You need to be purposeful. You need to be intentional. But you also need to be aware that the art of allowing is a conscious choice you make moment to moment. It's a conscious choice. It's a conscious choice. The art of allowing is deep trust in the universe. That it's always got your back. It's always working behind the scenes to give you and to bring in your life exactly what you desire, to fulfill you and to fill your cup. They're the 3 big ideas. Sounds great, right? But, it's a but you could probably be saying this to yourself, why isn't it working for me? Sounds good, why isn't it working for me? Well, what gets in the way? Resistance gets in the way. So let's come back. What are you resisting? The only reason why it's not working for you right now, you are resisting something. And what you resist persists. You need to click into that, my friends. You need to ask yourself, what are you resisting right now? Because there's only one solution to resistance. And it's the one solution that you need to move forward with in order to bring what it is that you want in your life. Anyone know what that is? Let's see if anyone's going to put anything in the chat. What do you think that might be? What is the solution? What's the solution to resistance? When you come across the things that you resist, how do you overcome that? How do you start moving forward? And the solution? Acceptance, as Dean said. You don't have to agree with what's happening in your life, you just need to accept it. You don't have to agree with people, you just need to accept them as people. Accept them as a spirit. You don't have to agree with the circumstances in your life. You just need to accept that that is what's happening in life. Because if you can't accept it's happening, then you're not accepting life. And what you're going to be attracting is stuff that you're not going to be accepting. Because if you're not accepting life, you're rejecting it. Resistance is a form of rejection. And if life is a reflection of you, you're rejecting yourself. Acceptance is a foundation of wisdom and inner peace. If you want to start moving forward, you need to accept what is done is done. And what has happened has happened. And it's through that you can start looking for the silver lining. I think maybe that's how it happened for you, Mr. Siri. We can all, when we all get into a place, we can finally accept what's happened. We don't have to agree with it. It might not be something that we like. It might not be something that we wanted to happen. But we accept that that is what happened in life and nothing is forever in life, and we accept that. And then we can be grateful to have had the experience. Be grateful to have those memories. Be grateful to have the opportunity to become the person I was and to show up in those experiences. And who can I be today because of that? So again, that's great theory. How do you accept is the question. Because you know what? Resistance gets in the way. Where does resistance come from? Where does resistance come from, guys? Are you creating subconsciously blocks for yourself? Yes, we are. Our resistance are our subconscious blocks. They're our mental blocks. It's our beliefs, our thoughts, it's our thinking. And we know this. It's not just thinking positive and being happy and being successful. And it's not just doing it deliberately. And it's not just, you know what, I'm just going to allow life to happen to me. I want to accept people for what they are. Yes, that happens, but you get triggered. Whenever you get triggered in that process of doing 1, 2, and 3, you have got a subconscious obstacle that you need to work with. Am I making any sense? If you did not have the subconscious obstacle, then you would be allowing 1, 2, and 3 to work in the most beneficial way for you. So what are some of these mental blocks, some what-if statements? You've seen this list before. I'm not smart enough. I'm not handsome, pretty enough. Making money is hard work. We struggle to overcome the problem after another and then we die. That's a belief system. Imagine living life that way. Are you ever going to allow life to flow through you? Are you going to say yes to abundance? Are you going to say yes to relationships? Are you going to say yes to happiness? Are you going to say yes to money? Are you going to say yes to experiences? Are you going to say yes to travel? So many people are getting on the high horse that they can't travel, and they're never going to travel because they couldn't afford travel. But now they've got a reason to actually blame about what they can't travel because they don't want to face the fact that they didn't go through us and do something with their life to be able to travel. Now they've got a reason to blame someone. I'll get what I want when I get to heaven. What if heaven was on earth? I'm not creative enough. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. Wanting more money is greedy. Who said that? The root of all evil is money. If I have what I want, other people won't be able to have their needs met. So I'd rather sacrifice myself. I'll fall on my sword. You relate to any of those? So again, if you do, and there's a trigger there, there's work that still needs to be done. You might think, but I've already done the work. Well, do you only eat once? If that was the case, you only eat once ever in your life, you wouldn't eat again. But you eat every day. Why do you eat every day? Because you need nourishment for your body, isn't that right? For your body to run effectively. Well, you need to be doing this work every day because that's nourishment to your mind. It's nourishment for your heart. It's nourishment for your soul. It's the work that you need to do to stay aligned between your mind, your heart, and your soul and your spirit in order for you to stay in that vibration of creation. Do you just meditate once? You just pick up the phone, have a conversation once? Do you just forgive once? When you can forgive the unforgiven. And when you think you need, when you think someone's done wrong by you, the fact that you have to forgive them, well, what are you focusing on? Whether you want to forgive them or not, the fact they've done wrong by you, you're focusing on wrong. Where's your vibration? What are you bringing in your life? What are you not allowing? You're saying, I don't want you to live your life that way. So I want to block the way you've chosen to flow life. Don't do that with me, don't do that with other people. Well, hold on a second. Who are we to actually control how life flows through that person and what they do in terms of other people? It's a difficult one to take, right? Because you might say you've got a role to actually help people. But is our role to help people by changing their karmic blueprint? Is that possible? And if these are the beliefs that you're holding on to, what about when you get into the what if statements? Maybe you've got some fears that you haven't recognized, that they are disguised as a what if statement. What if I'm too old? What if I'm too young? What if I'm not educated enough? What if I'd make a fool of myself? What if I fail and everyone knows it? What if I succeed and my friends abandon me because I'm too rich and popular and famous? What if everyone wants something from me because they think I'm rich? What if I'm not good enough? That's all what if fear. So what's the solution, guys? Here's the solution. What we need to do, you got to just keep on showing up and you got to keep on doing the work. You got to keep on showing up and you got to keep on doing the work, and you got to do it purposefully and intentionally. What is the work that we want you to keep on showing up and to do? So how do you practice the art of allowing? What are some of the things that you can focus on, guys? Practice the art of allowing means that you are pretending. It's the pretense before you become tense. Get back into, it's a trance state. Because you're already in trance of the problem. What if you pretend you didn't have the problem? That's an Ullman-ism, right? Dave Ullman worked with a pretense. Pretend to feel the way you would feel when you manifested the very thing that you want. And if you pretend and if you act as if, then you create the frequency of you being in that. Now in the beginning, it might feel like I'm an imposter, you know, the imposter syndrome, because of all the negative beliefs that we've got of ourselves. I'm not good enough. People aren't going to believe me. I'm not worthy. People aren't going to look at me successful. They're going to know I'm a bullshit artist. Well, you've got to do the work. There's misconceptions about the art of allowing. People think it promotes greed because you're focusing on what it is that you want. Well, it's all woo-woo, it doesn't work. Well, if you're focusing on it doesn't work, what are you going to get? It's just too hard. Or it promotes laziness. Just sit and just allow things to happen. That's not what we're saying. You have to do the work. The steps to take to enjoy the art of allowing. So what do you need to do? What are the steps that you need to take? I think the first thing, you've got to accept what is. You can't move forward in your life unless you accept what is. Because without accepting what is, you still have resistance. Would you agree with that? So accept what is, and if you can't, be aware of your resistance. Be aware of your triggers. And do the work to let go of your triggers. What's the work that you can do? That's why we've got all our programs. NLP, rewiring your thinking. What about some tapping, clearing the energy around the problem? What about some hypnosis? What about some yoga? What about some breathing exercises? There's a whole range of wonderful modalities you can work with to actually let go of the things that are a resistance in your body. I don't know what's going to work for you. All these things work great. I'm not saying one thing is better than another thing. You've got to keep on exploring to find the vibration and frequency that's going to work for you. But if you're not accepting what is, if you've got a blind spot, if you're jumping on your high horse, and you're attempting to defeat and beat what is to prove a point, then you've got a resistance to what is. Am I making any sense? You're blocking the flow of life, the experience of life, so you're not going to have the experience that you want. No point being clear and writing what you want unless you become aware of your resistance and work on that first. Once you've worked on your resistance, you've accepted what is in the situation, you've uncovered all the triggers, and you've rewired. X equals a different Y. It's a Z now. You're not reacting the same way. You're being actually resourceful. You're no longer going from reactive in a situation, now resourceful in a situation. Then be clear. What is it that you want to bring into your life? Write it out. Down and speak it. Then you take inspired action. When we say inspired action, deliberate creation. And inspired with breath. Connect your spirit. Make your spirit connected with the action. Do things which make you enthusiastic. The word enthusiasm is entheos I am. It's in God I am. Right? Practice having what you want. Make believe, pretend you're experiencing it, getting the vibration of having it. Keep your vibrations high. This is an awesome one. How can you keep your vibrations high? What are the things you can do every day to keep your vibrations high? Listen to music every morning. Maybe burn your favorite candles. Create an environment where you feel you're in the moment, you're in the zone. Clear the clutter. Make your environment a space that you feel good in. Reward yourself. Do things that keep in a high vibration. Become more aware of your feelings and emotions when you're having interactions with people. Where's that coming from? Is there resistance? When they say something, is there resistance? Is there a trigger? What comes up for me? And you know what? When you're clear of what you want and you keep your vibrations high, just let go of the outcome. Because that's where I want to go. But you know what? What I do know is whatever is meant to happen will happen. And I'll just stay focused on what I need to become today, to stay in the vibration of bringing that in my life. That's what we've always said. You know that statement that we've always used with Jim Fortin? How would your life be? And what would you do? And how would you feel if you already had blank? Isn't that right? How would you feel? Who would you be? What would you do? And how would you feel if you already had blank? Who would you be? What would you do? And how would you feel if you already had blank? Let go of the outcome. Just be the person that you would be. Do what you would be doing and stay in the feeling. And you'll bring that into your life. Stop trying to figure out the how. Stay in the vibration and you'll attract it. So how can you apply these principles? How can you apply the art of allowing? Here's some things you can do. You can meditate. Use meditations to stay focused on what you want, to keep you still, to keep you clear, to de-stress yourself, to actually get you to move away from the things. When I say move away, to just let them go, to accept them. To be okay with who you are in the present moment, to be okay with how you're experiencing the present moment and whatever the present moment is. Visualize. Use visualization techniques. See yourself being the person that you need to be. See yourself being in the vibration. See yourself in the feeling of attracting that very thing in your life. Affirmations and incantations. We've talked about them before. Write them out. What are the words that you use to yourself in the morning? When you look in the mirror, what is it you say to yourself? What's your words? Pretend that you're living life as is. Tell people about it. Burn your bridges. Tell people about your life, who you're going to be. Hold yourself accountable. Be grateful for things that you experience in life, your gratitude journal. Ask for what you want. Don't be afraid to ask life what it is that you want. Don't be afraid to put it out there. This year we've made a point to put out the things that we want to experience. And we're sharing the stories, and you know what? whatever will happen, happen. But all I know is, not all I know, what I do know is happening, a lot of opportunities are coming up. Because we're putting it out there. We're telling people about it. We're grateful for any opportunity that comes our way. But we're asking for it. We're not saying, oh, let's just see. We still want to be very clear what we want. And the important one, guys, set up anchors. Anchors to keep you in that vibration. Anchors to keep you in that state. You know, we've talked about in our positive psychology, door frame anchors. When you walk in your house, what are the 3 words on your door of your house? So when you cross that threshold of that door, you are in that state of those 3 words. And you're in that vibration with your kids and with your significant other. What about the door frame anchor of your office? Why don't you wear a wristband? Wear a wristband and have this band mean something. Maybe put a word on it, and when you flick it, it brings you into your state of what that band means. Am I making sense with that, guys? So maybe bands of acceptance, bands of friendship. Wear a crystal, because a crystal might have a meaning, and so when you put that crystal on, you know you're connecting to that vibration, and so you're consciously intention putting yourself in that vibration with your thoughts. Maybe a crystal for strength, a crystal for cleansing, a crystal for power and success. Maybe you're wearing some tigerite to be able to find the strength to overcome things. They're anchors. Is it making any sense, guys? What we all know is this, that if nothing changes, nothing changes. And you need to start the change. You're only one decision away from a totally different life. And that one decision could then propel you onto what's waiting for you, which is your destiny. So that brings us to the end of the night, guys. So let's go around the room. Maybe a few of you can tell us what's been most valuable for you. What did you get out of the night? What are your takeaways? Because as we share our takeaways with everyone else, we anchor these in, don't we? So what are the takeaways for you? Anyone want to share? Let's go to Michael first. What are some of your takeaways?
There was a lot there tonight. Really was. And
it was, and it's so interesting, I don't want to interrupt you, but you know what's interesting, we look at our Zoom registration, we had like over 20 or so people registered to be here tonight. So they had intention to be here. But on a subconscious obstacle, something happened for them to, well, they didn't allow themselves the experience, right? And we don't know what's happening in people's lives, but what I do know is if you put your name down, you've got an intention to do something. So between the intention and the actual realization of that intention, an obstacle came in the way. My wish for them is for them to sit down and think about that. Because if they don't become aware of the obstacle and what the resistance is, they'll just keep on attracting more of it. So I want to congratulate you for being here, all of you. So Michael, yeah, go on. There was a lot there.
the thing that comes most to my mind is acceptance.
Acceptance.
And what you said earlier about last year and how I moved on. And that sort of really hit home, the fact that I did accept what happened. And I was grateful for the previous 45 years and what it set me up for in life. And the great life I'd had up until then.
Awesome. And the great life that you got still left in you.
That's right.
Thank you so much for sharing, Michael. Christine, what's your takeaway?
I just like how it's so positive. Everything's positive about it. You know, to me, I just got out of a group that I was in with Tony Robbins, right? Because I got so shitty with everybody being so negative. Honestly, they gave me the shits. So I just went, fuck yes, and that's it.
All right. Well, again,
You've got
just check what you.
got to think positive if you want positive things to happen.
I agree. All I'm saying is, not all I'm saying is, one thing I want to say is that's a great move that you did because you're creating the environment. What do you do to attract what you want in life? But just check with yourself, all of us, where does that resistance come from? Because if there's a trigger, there's also a learning there for you, right? I think the action of getting yourself out of a situation which no longer serves you is a positive one. But then you also need to look at what was a trigger to ensure that I'm not always moving away from that. So what can I learn from that to take it even to a next level? So positive, and so what else is takeaway for you?
Oh, well, acceptance is the same as Michael, right?
Awesome.
And yes, you just move on, and you think, well, that's gone, and you have to move on and push yourself to do it. I don't know. It's just acceptance and positive.
Thank you so much for that, Christine. Betty, what's your takeaway? The small groups, I'm going to ask everyone.
Thank you, Arthur. It was beautiful. The law of allowing stood out for me, and it was very valuable. And another thing that was valuable was doubts steal your dreams.
Yes. It's that thief in the night that visits you, right?
Yeah, that thief at the night. I like that. The thief at night that steals your dreams.
And doubt is resistance to what could be, which means there's resistance to what is. So where is it? And we might not be aware of it, but is there a blind spot that we can focus on? So we just keep on doing the work, just keep on showing up and doing what we need to do. Thanks, Betty.
Thank you.
Catherine, what's your takeaway for tonight? And thanks for being in the room. Can't hear you, it's not coming through. Just check your microphone settings. No, I can't hear you. You're unmuted, but obviously your microphone settings aren't coming through. Can anyone else hear Catherine? No, okay. Maybe you can type it in the chat. Type your takeaway in the chat. And we'll come back to you on that one. Just type in the chat. We'll just go to Dean. Dean, what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I like the contraction and expansion. And if you've got two things and you have a think of choice A and choice B, like how do they make you feel? And is one making you feel contracted in that? Like when you sort of got doubts about something, you sort of shrink back in, and when you're positive about something, you do expand. And yeah, which one makes you feel expansive? It might not be the thing that you want,
yep,
but it's how you feel, and like trust your body to tell you. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Dean. Appreciate that. How you going there, Catherine? Any luck? Still muted. All right, we still can't hear you, but that's okay. There we go. She's got no luck with the microphone. Sorry, that's okay. So what's the takeaway? Just put in the chat. So one thing that you took away from tonight. Few takeaways: option A versus option B, constriction and expansion. Absolutely. You know, that one there it's a great one, right? Constriction and expansion, and it's a great way to make a decision in terms of what's right for you or what's not right for you. So thank you so much for that, guys, and just really we want to finish up. as you know, I just want to let you know that we've got a few things coming up. Part of our MBX Evolution product, we've got the Grow Thyself program, which we're, well, letting you know that you can register today. So you can go to this website, growthyself.me. It's a new program that we're releasing. It's a free program. Let your friends know about it as well. We're going to be streaming it in our Facebook group, the Evolve from the Inside Out. So let your friends know that they're comfortable with that. So you can register, and we want you to register because next week you'll get an email. You'll probably have access to the back office in the members area, because all the videos that we're going to do, the 10 or 15 minute tips on the Monday and the 10 or 15 minute tips that you're going to get on the Thursday, they'll all be videos for the week that you'll be able to access in your back office, as well as PDFs and downloads and all the notes. All the tips are going to be for you in PDFs and all the affirmations. So the whole purpose of this is for us to be working together for 52 weeks. Weekly, monthly, and a yearly challenge to keep you growing and evolving. So each week we'll post a live video tip in the MBX Evolve online community. The tips will be in those specific areas. Then we're going to follow up with a reflection and affirmation, or part of the book club. We're going to review a book, and there'll be guides and worksheets, and we're going to create some interaction in the Facebook community. So we want to bring as much as we can to you in order for you to be able to have the experience you need to have. So think, wow, this is the group that we want to be part of. Doing this program and being in this group is what we want you to tell your friends about. And so, because this is where we want to be able to serve and help people rewire the thinking and help them to be able to make the decisions that they need to make in order for them to bring more the love, more the joy, more the happiness and more fulfillment in their life. The other thing that we want to share with you is, we introduced to you our new evolution product last time, but what we're doing now is, because we know the one product that's going to help you change your thinking, the one product program that we've got over the last 25, 30 years with all the courses that we've done in the field of NLP, hypnosis, coaching, kinesiology, energy work, quantum physics, you know, all the complementary medicine, Chinese medicine, all the work that we've done, and they're all wonderful modalities, but the one program that helps the person get out of that hole, get out of the thinking where they feel stuck right now, and start moving their life forward in a more purposeful way to bring the love, the joy and happiness in their life, letting go of the obstacles, letting go of the limiting beliefs, letting go of the emotions that they're holding on to, is the NLP practitioner program. You know, it's a program, people come out of the training and they say, this should be taught in schools. And I know that's what you guys thought when you finished the program. So if it should be taught in schools, that means everyone needs to know it. And the reason why people don't do it, because it's a life skills training program. Forget about it's also certification to become a coach. People should do it just as a life skills training program, not only to become a coach. Come and do it as a life skills training to be a better human being, to be a better husband, to be a better wife, to be a better partner, to be a better brother, to be a better sister, to be a better mother, to be a better father, to be able to be better at what you do, better communication with your clients, with your family. What would that mean for you if you're able to elevate your life and your consciousness that way? And I think we all have a responsibility to help people do that, to come out of this global mess that we've been in, this global, and it's a shift that we're going through, this global sitting on the fence, and start raising consciousness and really leading ourselves, our family and our loved ones out of this mess. So the one program is the NLP course, the practitioner program. So we have an important message. You know, it's a message. This is now a website that we've put together. It's a message for all existing practitioners, therapists, coaches, healers, any aspiring practitioners, coaches and healers, or anyone that just wants to help other people. This is the program for you. We're not going to, you know, a lot of people don't do it because they don't know what it is. That's why we want them to come to the Grow Thyself program, to the Evolve community, because they want to, we'll share so much to them that they're going to have an awareness of what this may do for them, right? And if the time is right, then make a decision on this program here. It's the MBX Leadership Program. So, and most providers, it's now a 5-day program with us because we combine online learning. The positive psychology is online. It's a 5 or 6 hour program. The NLP timeline therapy and the coaching is taught face-to-face live or face-to-face on a virtual. Then, of course, we've got there's lots of things that we give people, the art of coaching, the high-performance coaching. It's now a 5-day program. Most people will charge $3,000 to $4,000 for this program, and it's worth it. But a lot of people won't do it because right now they can't afford that money to be able to do this program. And maybe they'll discover that they've got a calling, get these certificates, and then maybe help other people. So here's what we're doing, guys, and we want you guys to help us to change the face of the planet, to rise human consciousness. we've put together our MBEX leadership program, and we're giving away $3,000 scholarships. We want to pump over $1 million of education in the marketplace to be able to help people rise up, help people change their thinking. If you haven't been able to afford it, I don't want that to affect you actually doing what you could do to change your life. You know why? Everyone deserves a second chance. And I'm not going to make it about the money. People in the industry are telling me, you know what, you're crazy, you're discounting the industry, you're cheaping the industry. I don't think so. I'm actually elevating the industry because I'm actually giving back to the industry. I've been in this for 25, 30 years, and we've been grateful that we've carved out a wonderful career and a business in it. So this year, in 2022, we want to give away over $1 million worth of scholarships. So here's what they get in our leadership program. They get over $15,000 worth of coaching. They get the 5-day virtual training, they get tutorials, they get the art of coaching, they get the high performance coaching, the new program, The Charge. They'll also get an online program being the emotional intelligence facilitator, and a lifetime membership to Evolution program, which is these masterclasses and all these other courses that we've got in the back office, all for $497. No longer $3,500, it's $497. Now, it's not about the money, but you're not going to find this program anywhere for $497. So I want you guys to let people know. If you've already done it, come back again. Our next one's end of March. And if you've already done it and you bring your friends, let us know, because if you bring 2 people, you'll make $500. We'll give you $250. Your first 2 people, you make $250. You find 2 people that pay $500 each, you'll make $500. It's just a thank you to you, because we don't want to make it about. And if you've got more people, let us know, because we can make you an affiliate. And we have different packages for different affiliates. So guys, get your $3,000 scholarship, start leading yourself and others into this new world. That's the website, officialnlp.com. So let your friends go there, let them get registered. You know, the great thing is, you don't have to wait for a date to start your training. Your training will start straight away, because as soon as you register, you're going to have access to the 8-day course we did last year. It's over 60 hours of videos and recording. Your learning will start straight away. You'll get your manuals, you get your assessments, you'll get a call from us to actually start putting a program in place so you can get ready for the live face-to-face. And when you do the face-to-face and you've got 3 options to choose from throughout the year, that's when you get certified. If you don't want to get certified, man, for $497, you're getting probably the ultimate personal development program on the planet. The Netflix of personal development, spiritual development. So my wish for you is that you don't keep this a secret. Let people know. So here's the time for you to start writing out a message to your future. Maybe if you wrote a letter, dear future, I'm ready. What role are you going to play to start moving forward? If you want to have a call with myself, with my team, or any of your friends, if they want to have a call, here's the website, guys, mbxinstitute.as.me. It's MBX Coaching. Either Dean or Christina or myself will answer that call. Christina's not on the call tonight. But I just want you to think about the time has come for you. Say to yourself that you are ready. All you need to do is just start and make that one decision that'll start moving your life forward. You're only one decision away from a totally different life. So guys, that brings us to the end. I want to thank you so much for being this. Has anyone got any questions? Anything that you want to ask? If you've got any questions, just reach out to us, maybe message us or email us, or just send us a text or an instant message, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. I want to thank you for your time. We've been on 2 hours. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your participation and your feedback. And we'll be back again in 2 weeks' time with our next masterclass. But look out for the beginning of the Grow Thyself program, which will be coming into the group next week. So let your friends know, and we will see you next time.